And it will be the Fortuna Huskies in the home blue jerseys, blue tops, blue pants, and the silver helmets. The Fortuna Huskies will kick off to start this game. St. Mary's will be receiving the kick. Back deep to return the kick for the St. Mary's Panthers are Liam Godfrey and Ron Smith. And to kick it off for the Fortuna Huskies will be Bryant Head, number 53, senior. He kicks it off. This game is underway. The ball will stay in bounds and will be taken by Ron Smith about his own 5-yard line. Ron Smith finding a seam and finally gets brought down at the 25-yard line. So Ron Smith, who was waiting to see if that kickoff was going to bounce out of bounds, it took a fortuitous bounce for Fortuna, and Ron Smith having to return it at that point and made a little something out of nothing, getting the ball to the 25-yard line. The St. Mary's offense is a no-huddle spread attack led by the senior quarterback Ian Bondi, who has over 2,700 passing yards on the season so far. His first pass goes to Liam Godfrey here near side, and Liam Godfrey very close to the first down sticks, and they are going to say that he did pick up enough for the first down. So right away, Ian Bondi to his favorite target, Liam Godfrey, for 10 yards. It's going to be 1st and 10 now for the Panthers. Ball on their own 34-yard line, and it's now the tailback, Lorenzo Logwood, who runs to the right side. And he picks up some healthy yardage, and he will move the sticks forward for a first down. So right now the St. Mary's Panthers coming out looking fresh, looking rejuvenated.
Wasting no time. This is not a surprise.
However, Lorenzo Logwood comes off to the sideline, takes his helmet off. Hopefully he's okay. Trips near side for Bondi. Bondi, who rolls out to his left, now fires a pass, and it is held on and caught for a catch by Liam Godfrey. Liam Godfrey, who's been huge for the St. Mary's Panthers all season long, one of the lone seniors out of the talented playmakers on this team. This is a very young team, but a very athletic team. Liam Godfrey, who runs a 4.5 40. Bondi in the shotgun set here on first down. Passing once again, this time to the right side, and the ball is broken up by the cornerback there on the far side, that being Major Plain. And there is a flag on the play. And it is a personal foul call against Fortuna.
That's a roughing the passer.
And so with the roughing the passer call, that is going to automatically give St. Mary's another first down. So this drive continues to extend here. This being the first offensive drive of the game. We just hit the 11-minute mark here at the Redwood Bowl.
Yep, all 4 plays resulting in a first down. The first 4 plays can't ask for much of a better start for St. Mary's.
And so the offense is back set here on the 27-yard line. This time it is a give to Tamarick Pierce, sophomore running back, who cut it back. He started to the left and then wiggled to the right. And Tamarick Pierce unable to pick up a first down for the first time for the St. Mary's offense here on their first drive. And he will come off to the bench now, 2nd and 10. Bondi, who fakes one handoff and then gives it a delayed handoff, that being number 32, Stevie Harvey, another sophomore running back, who carries the ball this time for the Panthers. So after pass, now they're starting to run the ball a little bit more towards the end of this drive. And now they'll be faced with about a 3rd and 5. Ball right at the 23-yard line of Fortuna. Bondi sending a man in motion. That's Liam Godfrey on the far side. Delayed give to Lorenzo Logwood, who runs to that far side towards the right. And Fortuna's defense comes up large in swallowing that run up after a short pickup of yardage from Logwood. And so now it presents a 4th and 5 here to the Panthers. And they are going to go for it.
Not much of a decision there for the Cubs. The field goal team was staying on the sideline.
David Hernandez, number 40, on the sidelines. He is the kicker, and he will not be called upon here to convert on this 4th down. Instead, they pass it near side to a wide-open Liam Godfrey, who shakes a defender and marches into the end zone for a touchdown. St. Mary's strikes first here in this 2013 North Coast Section Division IV Football Championship.
Absolutely, the go-to little hitch route. Throw it short, allow your man to break a tackle and get into the end zone.
And so the right call made by head coach Keith Miner as they get 6, converting on the 4th down. Bondi to Godfrey, the extra point from Hernandez, who finally gets his shot to kick, is up and good. And so with 9 minutes and 33 seconds left to play here in the first quarter, the St. Mary's Panthers are up 7-0 on the Fortuna Huskies.
And that was a solid drive overall. 3 first downs in a row, and then the roughing the passer call got them close in the red zone. Ran the ball a couple times, found themselves in a third and manageable. Tried to run it off the edge. Got stopped 4th and 5, just a little quick hitch route. Great play, great offense.
And so now St. Mary's will kick off. It'll be Major Plain and Brett Renner back deep. For Fortuna, David Hernandez will kick for St. Mary's. St. Mary's going from right to left on your screen. As I mentioned, St. Mary's in the white uniforms. They have that new Nike look, the ventilated kind of vapor jerseys, and then they run up and they fake the kick there. Why not? A little trickeration. These guys have waited so long, I guess, kind of to keep everyone fresh and maybe gotcha.
Just some little shenanigans.
Yeah, you got to have some shenanigans here in the championship game for sure. A high kick that drifts over to the far side and is taken over there on the far side by the return man. I can't get his number right now, but he is making his way through this kickoff unit, and he might have a score if he can beat the kickoff team. He's still on his feet, and he will score! That kickoff taken to the house by Zach Hugh, number 15 for Fortuna, and just like that, the Huskies strike back.
Hugh coming up huge right there. You got to wonder if that fake shenanigan little, that fake onside kick kind of distracted the St. Mary's kicking team from staying in their lanes, but what a great return.
Rather interesting kick return formation for Fortuna as they had 3 guys lined up. Zach Hugh on the far side, and he took the kickoff about 85 yards for a touchdown. Kick from head is up and good, and so just like that, St. Mary's lead has diminished. It is now a tie ball game with 13 seconds after they scored their touchdown to take the first lead. And now Fortuna ties it up at 7 apiece. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. And yeah, you take out the H in Zach Hughes' last name, replace it with an E, and you're right, he did come up huge on that kick return. As normally you give up a touchdown on the first drive, and your defense and your team can kind of feel deflated, especially when you're playing closer to home. But to be able to then take the following kickoff for an 85-yard touchdown return, the momentum never went away.
That momentum stayed like neutral right there.
Yeah.
So one thing to think about with the high-tempo offense of St. Mary's, the Husky defense didn't really get a chance to rest, so we'll see how they respond right here.
Yes, that could play into St. Mary's hands, but neither has their offense. I don't think they have any problem, though, about needing rest. This is an offense that loves to get out on the field and loves to score points. Very explosive team. Talented receivers. Great ground game. However, a lot of new places, a lot of new pieces to the St. Mary's offense from a year ago. A short kickoff that took a couple bounces was fielded by Godfrey, and he will be tackled at the 35-yard line. But yeah, for the St. Mary's offense, only 6 returning offensive starters. They had a new starting quarterback after Kevin Flemmer graduated. Kevin Flemmer, who now plays baseball at Oregon State. a new top running back in Logwood, who's finally getting his chance after Aiden Shockley graduated, and a new receiver after Caleb Coleman graduated and is now playing for the Golden Bears of California. And it's Tamarick Pierce this time taking the first handoff of this second drive to the far side, and Fortuna was all over that run game, stopping Pierce for a loss of yardage. Major Plain in on the tackle, that being number 35.
Yeah, tried to run off tackle with a sweep there from the shotgun position. It was just snuffed out, nowhere to go.
Bondi trying to get his skilled players in position as they'll line up 3 receivers set this time. Twins to the far side, 1 receiver near side in motion. Instead, they will hand the ball off to Lorenzo Logwood.
Yep, Logwood taking a quick pitch off tackle right there, kind of cut it back inside. Got a good pickup, about 9 yards.
And this offensive line is all fresh as well, all underclassmen, no seniors on this offensive line for the St. Mary's Panthers. Bondi, quick pass out to the far side. It's caught by Tamarick Pierce, who tries to get past the defender and is tackled via the legs. It'll be very close to see if he got a first down or not. It all depends on if his knee touched the ground before, and they're going to say no. He did stretch that ball over past the yardage necessary for the first down to pick it up. So great job there by Tamarick Pierce. Individual effort to stretch the ball over after being tackled. Another quick pass, this time to Liam Godfrey near side, who shakes another defender, really just bounces off of him and continues to put on moves past 2 other defenders. And so some great yards after the catch there from Liam Godfrey, who already has a touchdown in this game.
Ball actually looked a little bit underthrown. They kind of caught the Huskies off guard, but he was able to adjust and break some tackles and make a few yards after the catch.
Godfrey gets the ball down to the Huskies' 30-yard line, and now the refs are going to stop the clock. And now the fans are starting to get the Let's Go Panthers chant going on. And so a timeout will be taken here on the field with 7 minutes and 59 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. It is a 7-7 tie between the 5th-seeded St. Mary's Panthers and the 2-seeded Fortuna Huskies here in the 2013 North Coast Section Division IV Football Championship game. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here today? Then tell your school to sign up for the NFHS Network School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to www.nfhsnetwork.com/SBP. Michael K. Smith here in the booth, giving you the broadcast live from the Redwood Bowl in Arcata, California, here on the NFHS Network. I'm joined by MV Freeman, our producer, and then Scott McDonald, who is our videographer, and occasionally you will hear him chime in. Scott, what have you thought so far of the early action?
So far it's been all St. Mary's, considering the fact that the Huskies haven't had a chance to get the ball on offense, but exciting matchup to start the game.
Exciting indeed. St. Mary's is back, shotgun set, 2 running backs in the backfield with Bondi. Bondi gives it to Logwood, who runs straight up the middle of the field on the, I guess you'd call it the halfback direct call, and that picks up about 3 yards. 2nd and 7. Bondi rolling out to the right. Now having to reverse direction as he had to get away from a couple defenders that were trying to sack him, and Bondi showing his athleticism here as he gets deep into Fortuna territory with a great scramble.
Showing great awareness in the pocket. I counted 3 defenders that he made with right there.
Ian Bondi shaking defenders left and right and gets the ball inside the 10-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal now for the Panthers. The ball placed at the 8.
I'll tell you what, Mike, that is very frustrating for a defense.
Yeah, they pretty much had him in the backfield for a sack. Looking like Ben Roethlisberger, able to escape the pressure, step up and run. And speaking of running, it's Lorenzo Logwood here on this play, running the ball to the left side. And Logwood does not pick up a bunch of yardage on that run.
So far, the Huskies
Logwood tackled for a loss of 2.
Overall, so far, the Huskies are doing very well on the runs when it comes to the handoffs to the running backs. But that's how the defense is built for that smash mouth type of football.
Shotgun set with 1 back, high snap, but Bondi is able to corral it, and once again showing his athleticism, but then just could not get away from the leg tackle attempt there by Dallas Letterman. There on the tackle for the quarterback sack, a huge loss of yardage for Ian Bondi in the Panthers offense, and it's still going to be goal situation, but 3rd and goal with the ball placed all the way back at the Fortuna 24-yard line. So they need to get in the end zone here on this play. And once again, the cheerleaders and the fans urging the Panthers offense to come through here on this 3rd and very long situation in the goal set. And that pass fired in towards the middle of the field.
And caught.
And caught, yes, by, I believe, Godfrey once more. Maybe it was, no, actually, I'm sorry, that was Eric Phillip, junior wide receiver, that made the catch.
That's just a great play overall right there. I mean, I'm sure they're going to go for it again on 4th and goal. Actually, they're going to take their first time out, so we'll discuss some things.
They didn't quite look for the end zone on that play. They just wanted to get themselves a little bit closer to the end zone. They did just that with a 14-yard strike on a slant, a quick slant to Eric Phillip. And so the clock stops here with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Like I said, we're here at a tied score, 7-7 between the 5-seeded Panthers of St. Mary's and the 2-seeded Huskies of Fortuna. St. Mary's coming all the way from Berkeley, and the Huskies out of Fortuna, California. As for the Panthers, just to get you back on their uniforms once more, the red numbers outlined in blue. Like I said, they have that new Nike technology. They have the blue and red stripes on the sleeves, and the blue stripes extend down the sides of the jerseys. Red numbers outlined in blue on the shoulder pads. No names, but the numbers are sewn on, which is a rather nice look. It says St. Mary's above the numbers on the front, has the Nike swoosh right on the collar. The red helmets have the white panther paw, and on the inside of the paw it says SM in blue. There's a triple stripe pattern running down the middle of the helmet with the blue stripe in the middle surrounded by 2 white stripes. Man in motion, that being Liam Godfrey, coming from near side to far side here on a 4th and goal from the 9-yard line, and Bondi is brought down for the sack and a turnover on downs. That was Thomas Roberts getting in there in the backfield and making the play. The senior 6', 202-pound defensive end. And so St. Mary's second offensive drive stalls after a couple of huge sacks.
And Fortuna can thank their defensive line, their front 4, for the pressure and as well as stopping the run on that drive.
And so now the Fortuna Huskies will take to the field for their first time offensively with the Ka-Chunk offense, as it's called. And they like to run the ball and chew up the clock. And they do just that here on the first play. It's the senior Brett Renner getting the carry near side. He picks up about 7 yards on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the Fortuna Huskies, with the ball at their own 27-yard line. This time it's a pro set with 2 receivers off to the far side. Once again, handoff this time towards the left side of the field. Nothing doing there. The quarterback, Jacob Huff, a senior with a rather different number for a quarterback, wearing the number 20. You don't see that all too much in quarterbacks.
Yeah, that kind of suggests that he began his football career as a different position. He was sort of moved to quarterback.
He does also play linebacker. And so now 3rd and 1, the offense bunched up, and it's a quick little toss to Brett Renner, who spins his way out of one tackle attempt and pushes the ball forward for a first down. And so the Ka-Chunk offense working to perfection here so far, getting their first down of the contest.
Yeah, and that's what they like to do. I mean, they're very comfortable in that 3rd and short position with their large offensive line and their running backs who could pick up chunks of yards.
Coach Bembo in his 6th season working at his alma mater, head coach for the Fortuna Huskies. And this time a quick handoff to the fullback there. And that was Gavin Lewis, senior. And there is a flag on the play.
Flag seemed to come in a little bit late, so we'll see what the call is.
And it's a personal foul against the St. Mary's Panthers on defense, so that will only aid the Huskies here on this drive. And it will punish the Panthers a little bit as this ball is taken past midfield now. A huge penalty against the Panthers places the ball at the St. Mary's 47-yard line. And that now equals up the penalties at one apiece. Both personal foul calls against each team so far in the first quarter. Fullback handoff once again to Gavin Lewis, and he is blown up immediately by the St. Mary's defense. In on the tackle was number 42, Ben Flackus.
A great job by Flackus of following the blockers, watching them block down, is kind of collapsing the hole and making the hit.
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Fortuna High offense. Like I said, they're a ka-chunk. I guess if you want to call it in more football terms, it would be a veer offense. They have 3 receivers out on the field this time. Maybe that'll suggest a pass game. Major play, and the near side receiver comes across in motion. And great fake there, as I thought it was Brett Renner who had the ball on the handoff up the middle, but instead it was the quarterback, Huff, who kept it himself and tried to scramble away on the far side, but St. Mary's defense very alert.
Staying with their assignments. Great job of being staying with those assignments and taking care of it.
And so now 3rd and 10, and maybe we might see the first pass attempt for the Fortuna Huskies in this ball game. They have a bunch trip set here near side. One receiver split out far right or far left. The pass goes to Major Plain, who makes the catch and then slides down to the ground after picking up the first down yardage. Major Plain, who had a huge game 2 weeks ago in the semifinal game in which Fortuna edged out one of their league rivals, Del Norte. Major, who, as they said in the Time Standard, was just plain reliable. Playoff there of his last name. And he had a huge miscue that he ended up making up for in that game. And we might have seen some movement there on the St. Mary's Panthers defense. I think number 75 might have jumped, that being Golden Sakona. The Sakona brothers are starting on the defensive front for the St. Mary's Panthers.
Yeah, Huskies seem to try to be getting inside of the heads of the other team right now, sort of going with the off timing, offset, making them jump, getting in their heads a little bit of frustration.
And so now that's the second penalty against the Panthers on this drive, made for a 1st and 5 situation. And it was Renner who received the handoff here on that previous play, and he will pick up about a yard, making for a 2nd and 4 situation. And Major Plain will come off to the bench for a breather. Pro set, Twins out to the far side, and it's Jacob Huff once again on that veer quarterback keeper, faking the handoff and then lunging to his left. And Jacob Huff picks up just enough for the first down, which gets the fans in blue and silver to make some noise and get up on their feet. Clear weather right now. It's about 42 degrees here in Arcata. It was a very foggy morning, and there's still some fog lingering in the air, but it's not a heavy fog. And Jacob Huff this time hands off to Brett Renner. And Renner is wrestled down by a St. Mary's defender, that being one of their top linebackers, junior Aaron Mercadell. And so it'll be 2nd down and 11 after the loss of a yard for the Huskies. And we're within the final minute of this first quarter. 7-7 score. Pitch left to Major Plain, who puts on a couple juke moves and then trounces into the end zone for a touchdown. Major Plain showing his shiftiness and speed there on a toss to the left side. punches it out from about 22 yards. And so the Fortuna Huskies take the lead in this ball game, up 13-7.
Yeah, and that was great blocking overall. They were kind of pounding up the middle for the last 3 or 4 plays. Kind of caught the Wildcats slipping with a sweeper on the edge and kind of sealed out the corner.
Bryant Head to attempt the extra point. And the kick is up and good. And so the Fortuna Huskies, who score on their first offensive possession of the contest, equaling the Panthers in that aspect, and you couple that up with their kickoff return that they had to equal the score earlier in this game, and now they have the lead 14-7 with just over 25 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. St. Mary's about to break up from the huddle. Their pants, they have that red and blue stripe that starts at about the thigh, goes down to the knee on each side. A lot of players wearing the red socks, the red Under Armour, the red Nike Pro combat gear. Ron Smith, one of the returners there, he has the red sleeves on the left arm and the white sleeves on the right. That's one of the things I wish I had back when I was playing. I was always about my fit game. And that was one of the things I wish I could have had the opportunity to do, wear the different colored sleeves. An onside kick here to try to catch people off guard, and it bounces enough, and I think Major Payne might have recovered it.
Major Payne.
It was as if the kick completely caught everyone off guard.
And that was a great job of being aware the ball had bounced, and he was watching the ball bounce, but he knew, he was aware enough to know the ball hadn't gone 10 yards yet. Let the ball cross the 50-yard line and then jumped on it. That should be Husky ball.
And there's players that are on the field for St. Mary's that just have their hands on their hips like, why didn't we see, why? I mean, they didn't even make an attempt to try to return it. Maybe they didn't think that the ball went far enough, but they just stood there. They didn't make any attempt to try to corral the ball.
And what's the irony of the Wildcats of St. Mary's attempting the fake onside kick, which resulted in a return for a touchdown by the Huskies, and then the Huskies coming back up their second score and calling a onside kick of their own and recovering it. Special teams making a big noise today.
Well, you called it with the shenanigans, and I told you, they're in full effect. And when it comes down to a championship game, you got to pull out all the tricks of the bag. I mean, this is the last game for both teams. None of these teams are advancing to a NorCal Regional Bowl games, which are being played this weekend. This is for all the marbles in the Division 4, so you better believe that all the stunts and bells and whistles are going to be displayed and brought to the forefront by both teams. And so Fortuna takes over with the ball once again. Maybe they could add to their lead before the end of the first quarter. Jacob Huff, who thought about handing the ball off and then realized I might as well just keep it myself. On the quarterback keeper, far side, scrambling for about a gain of 5 after he was bouncing around like a pinball between defenders of the Panthers. And the clock now ticking down to 6-5. It's probably going to roll out here. And that will do it for the first quarter of play from the Redwood Bowl in Arcata, California. The Fortuna Huskies, the number 2 seed, leading by 7 points over the number 5 seeded St. Mary's Panthers from Berkeley out in the East Bay. Here at the end of the first quarter in the North Coast Section 2013 Division 4 football championship game. Folks, do not go anywhere. We will be right back here for the second quarter of play in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, it all starts here on the NFHS Network. Tune in every week to watch the best high school football action from across the country. Well, tune in every week to watch the best high school action from across the country. Football will not be played every week. Although wouldn't people love that? Just football year round. Thousands of athletes, hundreds of games, one destination, the NFHS Network. We are high school.
And as the players switch sides, you got to think that that St. Mary's, they should be coming out inspired here, trying to get their defense off of the field. They must be kind of fatigued at this point.
All right, so we're back here to start the second quarter, and some movement down low. Play gets started anyway for Fortuna. And I believe they're just going to blow that one off. It looked as if St. Mary's might have jumped once again down there on the defensive front. But instead, the refs let the play continue, and Fortuna picked up a first down. Man checks off the sidelines, or checks into the field of action off the sidelines for the Huskies, that being number 15, Zach Hugh, who had about an 85-yard kick return taken to the house in the first quarter. And the handoff goes to Nolan Cahill. Or no, once again, they faked me out. It was the quarterback once again, Jacob Huff, keeping it. Doing a great job of the play fakes here. I mean, they're total. That's like the second time that I definitely thought it was the fullback or tailback up the middle who had the ball, and instead it was Huff keeping it himself for a first down. Meanwhile, a player injured and is laying down on his back for St. Mary's. We'll stop the clock with 10 minutes and 51 seconds here in the second quarter and hope that he is okay. Yeah. All right, so we're back here from the injury. The player looks to be okay as he's walking off the field on his own power. And that might just be number 75, Golden Sakona. But I want to make sure of that before I check that out.
I'm reading 18.
18, yeah, maybe Roman Grace, I'm sorry. Roman Grace, one of the defensive backs for the Panthers. And on a 1st and 10, the Huskies run the ball. And yeah, Roman Grace, the strong safety for St. Mary's. They have 3 safeties in their defense as they run a 4-2-5. And there comes one of the Sakona brothers. He'll get a breather, that being Golden Sakona, the sophomore. But yeah, 4-2-5 defense for the St. Mary's Panthers. Here comes the offense once again. It's Huff keeping it himself, but then pitching it out at the last moment. He was about to get whacked. And then he pitched it out to number 25, that being Gavin Lewis.
Dangerous pitch right there. He did take a hit, absorbed it well, and got the ball to his running back for a decent gain, 3rd and manageable.
That reminded me so much of the game NCAA college football for the PlayStation or Xbox, how you're able to pitch just right at the last moment. And he did just that, and Lewis picked up 4 yards to make for a 3rd and very short one needed for the Huskies here. And I don't know if they got it. St. Mary's was very stout up front, standing up tall and putting up a wall on the ball carrier.
They are calling it 4th down, 4th and 1.
So it'll be 4th and 1, maybe inches, as Daniel Villavazzo was the ball carrier and couldn't quite get the ball over the sticks for a first down. And so now the Huskies are going to call a timeout, stopping the clock with 9 minutes and 5 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. They lead 14-7 over the visiting St. Mary's Panthers out of Berkeley.
Right, and the Huskies calling timeout to talk things over on this 4th down conversion that they really would like to convert, make this a 2-score game, but at the same time, St. Mary's can't be expecting much more than what they just saw on 3rd and short, probably something really short up the middle, trying to pick up that first down.
Do you think maybe they call the same play?
I would consider I would be looking for a similar formation, but maybe a quicker handoff up the middle just to kind of get it. That was kind of a slow developing sort of sweep off tackle. I would expect something directly up the gut.
If it was me, I'd say give the ball to Major Plain. Okay. He's a stud. Either him or Brett Renner. Major Plain not even out on the field right now. Renner is, though. He's one of the wingbacks, kind of comes across in motion, gets a pitch, and he might not have got the first down, though, as he got the pitch about 2 yards back behind his quarterback. He's lined up very close to him. It was a very shallow, short set motion. He took the ball, and the St. Mary's Panthers, I believe, shut down the Fortuna Huskies on their 4th down attempt. So they will not convert, and they will turn the ball over on downs.
And that's what happens when you give the defense an opportunity to kind of shoot the gaps. And when you run a pitch like that, it's a much slower developing play than it is if you simply just handed it off to the running back up the middle.
And so the Panthers offense back out onto the field. They haven't had the ball for quite some time now. And on 1st and 10, it's Bondi looking for his main guy, Godfrey. And Godfrey, displaying great hands, goes up way high to make the catch as Bondi was under pressure, had to let the ball off, threw it rather high, and Godfrey comes down with it for the first down. Ball placed at their own 29-yard line. Godfrey, who ran a little curl route. Twin receivers near side, one receiver far side. And the ball carrier there, that being Stevie Harvey, absolutely lit up on the play, and there was a flag right after.
Late flag. I think they're going to call roughing the passer. It's a call I don't really like because you don't know when they're running the triple option like that. You don't know if the quarterback's going to keep the ball, so he just kind of did his job and hit the quarterback, but they're calling him for a personal foul.
And I guess that's kind of similar to when Kaepernick runs that pistol formation. It's always kind of that fine line between, if he's receiving the snap and he looks like he's going to run first and you hit him, but he gave the ball off to his running back already. There's that fine line. When he lines up in a running set, it should be free game at that point to tee off on the quarterback. But he had already handed the ball off to his running back, and then the hit occurred. And so,
so what are you supposed to do if you don't hit him and then he runs for a touchdown?
Right. I mean, he handed the ball off right at the last minute to Stevie Harvey. And so that 15-yard penalty brings the ball now out to the Fortuna 40-yard line. It's Bondi in the backfield in shotgun formation.
Good open field tackle.
Throws a pass far side to, I believe, Liam Godfrey once again, who made the catch. Major Plain in on the coverage and the tackle.
He does a great job of closing the distance between him and the ball carrier. A lot of open grass for him to be juked, but just kind of closed that distance, made the tackle. Great job.
Bondi, who has a very good quick release. I mean, he fires that ball out to his receivers rather quickly. Short drop back this time for Bondi, and once again another quick pass out to Godfrey, this time near side, and they just keep switching Godfrey around, lining him up on each side of the field. Liam Godfrey, who had a huge game in their last playoff victory in the semifinal round over San Marin. Upset the number 1 seeded San Marin by a score of 35-29. And the handoff goes to Logwood, who breaks free from some tackles, and he's still turning the legs. And Logwood showing some power there. Liam Godfrey, who had this to say after the upset of Santa Maria last week, he said, quote, "It feels great. There's no other feeling like this in the world. I couldn't have asked for more," after he scored 3 touchdowns, including a 97-yard touchdown pass, a 36-yard end-around play, and a 10-yard pass reception from Bondi. Bondi once again firing deep, and he has his man, and it's going to be a touchdown. And who else? Liam Godfrey on the catch.
Little hitch and go route, pump fake, got the defender deep.
And I was watching the highlight tape this morning on Liam Godfrey, and that's one of his favorite routes. Just a little hitch and go. Puts on that quick move, fakes like he's just doing a little out route, and then takes up off the field. And by that time, most defenders that he's played against so far in this season, he has been able to get a big gap and separate himself from the defenders, and he did just that.
Absolutely, because they love that little go-to hitch route, so when they throw that hitch and go, he's got to throw the defense off it. Great play.
So Liam Godfrey trying to do better than the performance he had last week, which, I mean, I don't know how you could get better than 6 catches for 164 yards plus 46 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns, but he's on his way to doing a whole lot better than that. He already has 2 touchdowns here. We're at 6 minutes and 56 seconds still left to play in the second quarter, let alone a whole second half, and he has 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown to put the St. Mary's Panthers on the boards was about a 16-yard touchdown strike, and that one, I couldn't count the yardage on it, but it looked to be a 40-plus yard strike. And I don't even know if Godfrey's dropped a pass that's came his way yet. Bondi, very accurate. He's put the ball right there for the receivers to catch. And Godfrey, who has been the main target.
We have yet another kickoff that have played such a huge part in the scoreboard so far.
St. Mary's fans with the kind of rattling noisemakers. And once again, they do that run up and fake kickoff. I don't know what the point of it is, but that's St. Mary's thing, and hey, let them do it. Although the last time they did that, Fortuna said, okay, you want to do that to us? We'll just take a kickoff 85-plus yards for a touchdown. A shallow, high kick here, which allows for the St. Mary's Panthers to swallow up on the kick return team rather quickly. And a very short return for Fortuna. It was Zach Hugh, the return man once again. He was the one that took the kickoff to the house the last time that St. Mary's kicked the ball off after their first score in the game. All knotted up at 14 points apiece. And so this championship game living up to its billing so far between 2 very good teams. Fortuna with 3 receivers out in the field. It's Major Plain coming across in motion and taking the ball on the end around from far side, or from near side to far side. And Plain runs towards his team's bench.
Number 33 there did a great job of jumping, shooting the gaps, and anticipating the snap count, but just missed the ball carrier.
Ron Smith makes the tackle after a 6-yard pickup from Plain. Plain this time going to line up as a receiver near side with Zach Hugh. And a quick handoff. No, once again, fake. It's Jacob Huff keeping himself, that veer option keep.
Yep, that triple option very hard to defend and even watch and consider who has the ball.
So this Fortuna offense keeping true to their ka-chunk theme and just taking chunks off the clock whenever they have the ball offensively. And the receiver checks in for Fortuna, that being number 88, Ryan Wigman, a sophomore who might be asked to play a big role. And on the first pass play for Fortuna, it is an incomplete pass, and they're looking for a pass interference flag, and they're not going to get it so far from the refs, as they felt that the receiver, the intended target, Zach Hugh, was grabbed at before the ball was thrown his way. 2nd and 10 for the Huskies. Never gave you the starting lineup. Starting quarterback Jacob Huff, a senior. Starting running backs Brett Renner and Nolan Cahill, senior and junior. And that play is blown dead before it can get started. It was a toss to Hugh originally, and then they're going to say false start against the Fortuna Huskies. Back them up 5. It'll now be 2nd and 15. Ball at their own 35-yard line. To continue out their starting lineup, tight end is Dominic Eastburn, a senior. Receiver is Ryan Wigman. Major Plain, also a receiver slash slot back. He's only a junior. very high upside for Major Plain. I would think that he's going to receive a lot of offers throughout this offseason in preparation for his senior year next year. A trips formation here with only one back for Jacob Huff. He's going to look to throw. Across the middle, the pass is deflected up in the air and broken up by the St. Mary's defensive backfield. The pass was intended for Major Plain, but there was 3 defenders in white in the area. Solid coverage there by St. Mary's.
We have our first 3rd and long for Fortuna.
Nelson White and Ron Smith leading the charge defensively. And so, yeah, now a 3rd and 15, and it looks like Fortuna's going to have to get outside of their normal ground game and look to pass once again. They set up a receiver screen for Major Plain, who is able to show a quick burst and get past some defenders of St. Mary's, but not enough for a first down. Not even enough to get the ball back to the original line of scrimmage. He really only picked up 2 yards on the play when you take into consideration the yards that he went back to make the catch on the receiver screen. And so now on a 4th and 15, will Fortuna punt the ball for the first time today? We haven't seen a team punt at all in this contest, and so yes, they will go back deep to punt. And it is a good punt by Bryant Head in his bright yellow cleats. It's taken by Ron Smith, the return man for St. Mary's, and Ron Smith gets the ball out just past his own 35-yard line. Clock now at 4 minutes and 55 seconds left to play here before halftime. And we're all knotted up at 14 points apiece between the 5th-seeded St. Mary's Panthers and the 2-seeded Fortuna Huskies here in the 2013 North Coast Section Division IV football title game. St. Mary's with a man in motion. 2 receivers split out to the far side, and it is a receiver screen for Godfrey, who gets past a leg tackle, still on his feet at the 40-yard line, and finally brought down in Fortuna territory at about the Fortuna 33-yard line.
Just a great job of getting the ball out quickly and allowing your man to pick up yards after the catch. Sort of the, who was that? Was that Bill Walsh who kind of introduced that to the NFL? Kind of throw the ball short and allow your receivers to pick up the yards after the catch.
That's the West Coast offense in true form. Just dink and dunk all over the field and let your playmakers make the play. Picks up a first down for the Panthers. Like I said, in Fortuna territory. Bondi looking for the air once again. And he is going to be brought down for a sack and a late flag. 2 or 3 flags fly now. Flags from all over the field, from all the sideline judges and refs, and we're going to get this whole picture sorted out here. Ian Bondi looked like he was going to throw deep again. And they call a face mask penalty against the Fortuna Huskies on the quarterback sack, and so penalties have cost both teams at times here throughout this contest.
Hits on the quarterback for Fortuna have cost them, I think that's the 3rd that they've called, regarding either a sack or a tackle or a hit after the play.
And so with that face mask call, it's only a 5-yard variety, but it will now place the ball at the Fortuna 27-yard line and give the Panthers an automatic first down. Twin set to the far side, hand off to Tamarick Pierce. Pierce jukes out one defender and then starts ranging to his right before he's brought down by Ryan Wigman, sophomore defensive back. And it'll be 2nd and 1 for the Panthers. Offensively up front for their offensive line, it's Lucas Jimenez-Smith, the sophomore at the left tackle spot. Alex Glover, a left guard. The center is William Skipwith, a junior. Peter Sakona, a right guard junior, and Luther Jesse on the right tackle position, only a sophomore. And now some extracurricular activities at the end of this run play. Might there have been a fumble? That was, I think, the cause for all the players kind of getting together and pushing each other and trying to fight for the ball.
Also a late whistle. Players are taught to play through the whistle.
And so now they're looking to see what the play is going to be here. 3rd and 1. Clock at 3 minutes left to play here before half.
The entire playbook's probably open right here because you expect them to go for it on 4th if they don't make it here.
And the quarterback, Bondi, is going to call a timeout. Clear his head and try to gain some confidence on what to call here on this 3rd and short pickup with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left to play before halftime. All knotted up at 14 apiece between the Fortuna Huskies and the St. Mary's Panthers. And ladies and gentlemen, join the conversation. The NFHS Network is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, giving you access to the best in high school sports every week. Follow the NFHS Network on your favorite social media sites to keep up with all the high school action on the NFHS Network. Hashtag We Are High School. Hashtag Redwood Bowl, as that is the site of today's championship game. Arcata, California. Folks, you can tweet me at MikeOnTheMic24 for those of you that are paying attention to the broadcast. Get interactive. And we resume from the break. And it looks like St. Mary's knew exactly what to call as that run will pick up a first down.
Yep, a little bit rough handoff, but he was able to grab control and pick up the first down.
Tamarick Pierce, sophomore, getting enough yardage there on the ball carry. 1st and 10 now for St. Mary's. Ball placed at the Fortuna 22-yard line. End around handoff to Liam Godfrey, who fumbles the ball, and it looks to be recovered by Fortuna. Yes, it is. Liam Godfrey, who had the first down yardage, trying to get into the end zone, and at the last minute, someone put a walloping on him from Fortuna, knocked the ball clear out of his grasp, and the Huskies were able to fall on the loose ball for a fumble recovery.
Yep, seemed to be the case of a man just trying to get in the end zone and doing a bit too much with the ball, not protecting the ball with the points on it, and absorbed the hit, and the ball came loose.
Turnover with 2 minutes and 25 seconds now left to play before halftime, and Fortuna will have the ball very deep within their own territory. They're going to have to start from their own 5-yard line and try to march 95 yards for a score. And the first play of this possession is a handoff to Lewis. And Lewis looked to be wrapped up high around the neck area, but there was no penalty called for the high hit. Instead, they're going to say that he picked up a yard on the run play, and it'll be 2nd and 9.
Just under 2 minutes to go in the first half.
The sun kind of peeking out from the clouds a little bit here at this moment. And a quick handoff to the fullback, that being Brett Renner. Renner gets the ball past the 10-yard line, and or actually they're going to mark the ball right at the 10. It's going to be 3rd and about 5, maybe 6 yards necessary for the first down.
So now they have a decision to make to whether to run the ball in an attempt to pick up this first down if they don't force St. Mary's to call one of their utilize one of their timeouts, or to try to throw and pick up the first down, and if they don't, they will stop the clock.
Well, they might be passing here. I saw Hugh check in off the sidelines. But they do hand the ball off on a little bit of misdirection there.
The quarterback
as it's the quarterback keeper, so once again, I continue to get faked out here. I'm going to start calling Huff Houdini, as he has now played mind games on me here throughout this whole first half, dazzling me with these veer option quarterback keepers. And really got to credit the running backs for selling those fakes.
Absolutely, and the holes are there too.
So now it'll be 1st and 10 for the Huskies with the ball at their own 24-yard line. They're looking vertical, and it will be overthrown. A couple of receivers in the area for Fortuna, that being Wigman and Plain. But Huff with a little bit too much mustard on that pass. Ron Smith in coverage. He tried to dive full extension to come down with the ball, but could not do so. So clock stops after the incomplete pass with 38.6 seconds left. Twin formation here to the near side. Pro formation in the backfield. And it's going to be a handoff to Gavin Lewis. And I'm surprised that Fortuna is not going to call a timeout. They do have one remaining. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Seems like they're comfortable just kind of taking this as a tie into the locker room for the half. Unless they choose to go deep one last time here.
Clock now down to 9 seconds left. Will they even get this play off before halftime? They will. It's Huff keeping it once again. Late pitch out to Lewis, who gets out of bounds, but not before the end of the first half. And so what an exciting and challenging first half it has been for both squads. This is what you want to see in a championship match. We are tied at 14 apiece between two of the best teams in the Division 4. Welcome back to the NFHS Network's coverage of the CIF 2013 North Coast Section Division 4 Football Championship, live from the Redwood Bowl in Arcata, California, on the campus of Humboldt State University. And I'm finally joined by our player of the game. That's the senior quarterback for the St. Mary's Panthers, Ian Bondi. Ian, congratulations once again on the championship, huh?
Thanks a lot.
How's it feel to finally have one of these around your neck?
It's great. I mean, I haven't won a championship for anything, so.
Anything at youth level or anything?
I've made it to a championship but never won, so.
What was the closest you ever came to a championship?
Probably when I played 8th grade basketball. We made it to the championship game for Alameda Youth Basketball. We live in Alameda.
Okay. What position do you play?
I play small forward, shooting guard, and actually they've been waiting for me, so moving on to that now. So yeah, I'm good to end the season like this. It's a great feeling. Yeah,
and let's talk about kind of the season in entirety for a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys were picked to finish somewhere around 3rd or 4th in the TCAL Rock, and reasonably so. I mean, you guys had a lot of key parts of the puzzle for the last couple years in the program that departed. And quarterback Kevin Flemmer, who's now playing baseball at Oregon State, I believe. Caleb Coleman, a receiver / defensive back at Cal, and Aiden Shockley, a running back. I remember broadcasting the last time I ever broadcast St. Mary's game was back in 2011. On the team that lost to Valley Christian.
I was there. I was on the sideline. I was just sophomore, just watching.
And how were you watching that game? I mean, what was your JV squad at the time? And you just watched the varsity team?
I came up for the varsity team at the end of the season, and I remember watching that game. And I was emotional after that game. That was a sad game.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had that one in your grasp, and Valley Christian kind of let it go. And did any of the seniors ever tell you about like playoff games like that? I mean, did maybe that prep you for this time? To kind of. Make sure you take advantage of every opportunity and don't let it get away from you.
Yeah, definitely. Our team dinners, you always see the seniors up there saying, you never know what it feels like to be a senior until you're a senior, and they're right. They always talk about you don't want to leave anything on the field and anything like that. So that's definitely what we did out here today.
And did you feel that, I guess, before the season? Now that you're a senior coming into the season hasn't started yet. What was your feeling like? This got to be the year, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we knew. Unlike some of the reporters, some of the articles that we had the guys to do it, and we were young. We got a young line, all sophomores and juniors, and a young team, just 3 seniors on the starting offense.
Yeah.
So
pretty much all the top guys from last year departed. You only had 6 starters each way returning on the offense and defense. So the season starts up, and I guess the reason why a lot of people didn't know about your guys is because El Cerrito's guys are so prominently known. I mean, you have 3 Division I recruits, and that's just a couple. I mean, there's probably going to be 5 now that they've won the championship game and are playing for the NorCal Bowl game tonight with Pickett and Calhoun and all them. And they're just one team in the league that you have to mess with. Valley Christian got a lot better. They had a big senior class this year that have been building their momentum up to get to this point. Also, Salesian's always tough, regardless, even though they lost players. So you knew coming into the league it was going to be tough. You also had Miramani on the schedule, who's a tough non-conference team. They jumped up to Division II this year. And so you're running through the schedule. You're running through a gauntlet. And
How do you think going through such a tough schedule prepared you for the playoffs?
Oh, it definitely prepared us, and it made us what we are right now. Having those tough games with Valley in overtime, Salesian losing at the last minute, and Miramani, the Division II winner. That definitely prepared us for this game a lot. All 4 of our losses this season came to the teams that were in the MCS championship game. So. Yeah, I feel like that helped us out a lot today, when we came up here and we did our thing.
And speak a little bit on that last loss that your team had before you went on the win streak and ultimately won the championship here today. Last loss, a crushing blow, 43-7 against El Cerrito. What did you learn about your team? I mean, was it more the fact that they just, like I said, they have that Division I caliber talent, and you guys just aren't there yet? Or was there something that maybe you could have done to play closer with them and that you learned, hey, we could be better in this aspect of it?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely challenged us. We knew it would be a tough game going in, with all the talent they have. But they definitely prepared us. We know after playing El Cerrito, we thought that it was a close first half. It was 14-7 at halftime. Right. We came out kind of slow in the second half. They got the best of us, but they definitely prepared us for this game. Playing that talent made it pretty easy. Move on the rest of the season.
Yeah, you guys coasted through the rest of the regular season. You got into the playoffs, and you win the first game at home, and then you upset 2 teams, most notably the top team. Your last game, San Marin and their quarterback Manny Wilkins. And what was that win like? Godfrey was saying it was the greatest feeling ever, but you haven't even got to won a championship yet.
Yeah. No, that was great. I've never knocked off a 1 seed like that, and all the talent they had, especially with Manny Wilkins, we knew it would be a fight, and we came out super fast. We went up 21-6 at halftime, and we were able to finish the game out. But yeah, that was a great feeling too, being able to upset the 1 seed like that.
So then this game. 2,349 yards coming into this one, 27 touchdowns on the year, gunslinger.
Yeah.
And you didn't get to play last week due to weather. What was that like for the team?
Yeah, that was tough. We were on the bus. We were coming up here, and then Coach Ryan tells us we're not playing. We were pretty upset. We were like, we'll go up there, we'll sleep 2 hours, and we'll go on the bus and play. We wanted to play really bad. So it was tough for the team, but we all realized, we have another week to prepare for Fortuna. We have another week to watch film, another week to get better. And we took advantage of that. As you can see, we definitely took advantage of that.
Yes, indeed. Let's talk about some of the scoring, and then I'll let you get out of here. But in the first half was really just entertaining, back and forth between you guys. 14-14 score at half. You had what I looked to be a 16-yard touchdown strike to Godfrey on the first one, in which he came back on that curl route and then shook a defender out.
That was actually Eric Phillip.
Oh, Phillip was the first touchdown?
Phillip was the first touchdown.
Okay, so he scored the first one, and then later on in the second quarter, you hit him on that hit-and-go, Godfrey, and I was watching his highlight tape. That's one of the routes he runs extremely well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
separation is key.
Yeah, we were running those ones. They're off a lot. Kept running those curl routes, kept hitting them, and then Coach Meyer said, we got to take our shot now, so we took advantage of that.
Well, speaking of taking your shot, I think what we came up with the biggest play of the game as far as my call goes, I think was when you guys got that second touchdown in the third quarter to go up 28-14. Here it is, a play in which you're under pressure, you're under duress, you're rolling away. I'm thinking you're going to run with the ball now at this point because you're getting close to that line of scrimmage, and you fire it off just at the last minute. I mean, right before the line of scrimmage, you fire it off a la Michael Vick or some of the other great quarterbacks that are good at throwing on the run, and you throw this strike. Granted, Godfrey's double covered on this one, but you knew if you could throw it up there, he'd make the play. He comes down with it, goes up for it in between 2 defenders, and then somehow manages to escape that and jaunt on for free for a touchdown. What was your feeling after that?
That was great. It was a design screen that was supposed to roll right, throw it off to the left on that screen, but they blitzed that side, I think, so the screen wasn't there, so I just did a little spin. I looked downfield, and I saw William, and I knew he could make a play on the ball. I know he's been doing that all season, so I threw it up to him, and he made a great catch, and that was better catch than the throw. He definitely just went up and got it and broke a tackle.
I mean, even when he's covered, he's still open, huh?
Yeah, definitely, we have good receivers,
Well, you have good receivers. Logwood was a great running back. He punched it in, and so and then you had the 2 pick sixes, which were key from Ron. So here's what I'm going to end you off with, a couple questions, and I'm going to let you go. First off, as the senior guys with you and Godfrey and Logwood, now what's next?
With you mean just moving on?
Yeah, I mean, I know you said basketball.
Basketball definitely.
Were you guys pretty close? And is there any? Is there a want to play football at the next level for any of you three?
Yeah, definitely. All 3 of us want to play at the next level. We're not all sure yet. Because we're kind of low-key guys, obviously, but we all want to play at the next level. We're just playing it, see what happens.
Any colleges showing any of you guys?
I'm not sure about them. I mean, about me, some small D3s, but nothing major. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the future? Offensive line's going to grow together. They're going to be strong. And what about Ron Smith? Is he going to be something else next year?
Yeah, Ron. We call him Bones. You know, he's a skinny dude, but he makes plays, and it's crazy. I mean, I love that kid. But, no, definitely next year these guys are going to be great. You know, 10 returning stars on defense. They're already talking about state next year, so I'm going to be there rooting for them. You know, I think they can do it, definitely.
And last but not least, any shout-outs for any friends or family that are watching? You're champion now. You finally won your first championship.
My family, you know, have been supporting me all 4 years. You know, even last year when I wasn't playing quarterback, they always came to the games and supported me. So, yeah, my family definitely.
What position were you playing last year, if you don't mind me asking?
Last year I was playing corner, actually. I was playing receiver, too.
Okay.
So, yeah, backing up Kevin. So.
Okay, well, I wish the best of luck to you in the basketball season. Hopefully I see you shooting some threes or something of that nature. And then in the football season, or college in general, I hope you get to play football at the next level and definitely get that education. And you know, just a very quality individual, great playmaker, man. It was a pleasure to watch you today.
Thanks.
And thank you once again for putting on quite a performance and our Player of the Game honors and coming up here for
appreciate it. Thank you so much,
And no problem. Once again, folks, give it up for Ian Bondi, the senior signal caller for the St. Mary's Panthers. His team finishes the year 10-4 and wins a championship along the way, the third championship for a high school from the TCAL Rock Division. Like I said, undoubtedly the best division in the Bay Area this year in football. So I'm going to let Ian get back to his family and friends and celebrate. And meanwhile, we'll take a quick break. Scott and I will come back and we'll finish things up here from we'll wrap things up here from the Redwood Bowl in Arcata. So folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with the post-game show on the NFHS Network. We are high school. And so 14-14 is where we sit. Any last impressions, Scott, before we start the second half?
No, we're just excited to see how this third quarter plays out.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for the halftime show. The CIF North Coast Section 2013 Division IV football title game will return, or is about to start. Remember, folks, you're watching the NFHS Network's presentation of the CIF 2013 North Coast Section Division IV football championship game, live from Arcata, California, the Redwood Bowl. And here we are, the start of the second half, on a high, shallow kick, which is
fair caught
at the 30-yard line by Ben Flackus, number 42.
I bet if he had another crack at that, he wouldn't have called the fair catch. He was just not sure if he's used to catching the ball.
Fortuna back out on the field. They are going from left to right on your screen. The all-blue uniforms with the white numbers, solid white numbers. Above the numbers on the front of the jersey, it reads Fortuna in capitalized font. There are no names on the back. They have the triple stripe pattern on the sleeve, or on the shoulders there. And it's Jacob Huff keeping it, and then a late pitch out to, I believe, Gavin Lewis on the far side. And Lewis was driven back by the defense of St. Mary's.
That's what you call swarm tackling right there. Everyone keeping with their assignments and just staying with the ball. There was nowhere for anyone to go.
Like a group of bees after honey. And so,
because every man has an assignment when you run this triple option. Someone's in charge of, is accountable for the fullback, another man's on the pitch man, and someone else on the quarterback. Right there, all three men did a great job of staying on their assignments.
Well noted. A very bunched look here. Man in motion. He will be the recipient of the toss. I believe that was Brett Renner this time, and it is. And Renner might have been able to squirt past the defense for about a 2-yard gain. So it'll now be 3rd and 7 for Fortuna. To finish the description of their jerseys, like I said, they have the triple stripe pattern on the shoulders. It's the white stripe outlined by gray stripes. They also have that triple stripe pattern, same running down the sides of their pants, which are all blue pants, but then that triple stripe pattern on the side. Huff looking to throw here on a 3rd and 7. He completes the pass to Major Plain. Plain then stops and then picks up his feet once again and is brought down by number 33 for St. Mary's defense, that being Aaron Mercadel, who came up and made the tackle.
St. Mary's doing a great job of keeping things in front of them, making open field tackles. 4th down, obvious punting situation.
Peter Sakona takes off his helmet on the sidelines, and so Fortuna at a 4th and 5 will punt the ball away for their second time this afternoon. It is Bryant Head back deep to punt. Back deep to return for St. Mary's is Ron Smith. A great punt that bounces out of bounds by Bryant Head. Unreturnable for Ron Smith. And Ron Smith, who has had a very good season returning punts, so Bryant Head knew better than to give him a direct punt. Ron Smith on the year, 9 punt returns for 133 yards. And so now here's the St. Mary's offense. The Fortuna helmets, they're the silver helmets with that triple stripe pattern down the middle and the Fortuna Husky logos on each side. The triple stripe pattern on the middle of the helmet, white stripe outlined in blue. And on a 1st and 10 carry, it goes to Logwood. And Logwood is able to get maybe a yard on the run. It'll be 2nd and 9 now for the Panthers. Godfrey, the receiver, near side. Out there on the far side is Grace. And Bondi originally looked to the far side, then looked to the near side, then had to escape pressure, threw the ball low, and it's picked off by Fortuna.
That was number 24 on the pick.
Brett Renner.
Great play, kind of
making the interception.
A rare mistake by the QB right there, kind of got all in his face, didn't have anywhere to go, thought he was throwing the ball away, but great diving catch for the interception.
Ian Bondi was flustered there on that play. As pressure got to him in a hurry, he looked to his left, couldn't find anything, then he looked to his right, tried to escape from pressure, threw a low pass. Instead of just taking the sack, just fired one out there, and Brett Renner stepped up and made the pick. And so now Fortuna in great field position with the ball at the St. Mary's 27-yard line. Make that the St. Mary's 24-yard line.
Absolutely, with this style of offense, they are in business.
They'll line up with 2 receivers near side. And Huff is going to look to throw to one of those receivers. He finds the sophomore Wigman, who is able to spin out of a couple tackle attempts before finally being brought down at the 10-yard line, or near the 10-yard line, by Ron Smith. They're going to mark the ball at the 11-yard line, but it will be a 1st down for Fortuna.
Great play to kind of put St. Mary's on their heels, expecting the run, obviously, and just kind of throw a short pass.
And the St. Mary's crowd trying to urge their defense on for a stop. It's Huff with a late toss out to Gavin Lewis. And Lewis is hammered down to the turf by one of the Sakona boys, that being Golden Sakona.
So far, St. Mary's made some nice adjustments at half to stop that triple option attack. All it takes is one time for one man to kind of slip up, and it can go for a big gain, so you never know.
Yeah, Huffer was burning them all throughout the first half. I'll get you his stats in just a second. 2nd and 10 now for the Huskies, and it's Brett Renner trying to trounce his way forward for some tough yards. Jacob Huff, who was 2 of 5 passing with 17 yards in the first half. He also ran the ball 6 times for 46 yards. Brett Renner had 8 carries for 25 yards. Major Plain, 2 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Nolan Cahill with 2 carries for 5 yards. Major Plain, the only receiver to catch a ball for Fortuna in the first half. 2 catches in total for 17 yards. 3rd and 7 now for the Huskies. It's Major Plain getting the carry. He might have fumbled the ball late. And St. Mary's is saying that they have recovered it. And indeed, Major Plain now fumbles. And so turnovers going back and forth here to start the second half of play. First an interception from St. Mary's and their quarterback Ian Bondi. And now Major Plain, who fumbles here on what looked to be a pretty successful drive from the start for Fortuna. They're mixing a little bit of pass, a little bit of run, and Plain couldn't keep control of the ball.
Yeah, yikes, that's not what you want to do right there on 3rd down and manageable, but great job by St. Mary's. They knocked the ball out, but missed opportunities in the red zone seem to be the theme so far of what's the difference of the scores.
Plain, who had a huge miscue in the semifinal game against Del Norte, but made up for it in the end,
Maybe he'll get a chance to do that again this time around. Speaking of this time around, it's St. Mary's in their run game with their runners still on their feet. And that is going to be Lorenzo Logwood, the senior, who slips past the defense. He is the bell cow of this offense, kind of like the Frank Gore for this St. Mary's team.
He's running like Frank Gore right there. Very, very patient, letting things develop in front of him, waiting for his blockers, and just exploding through the hole for a large gain.
Logwood, who came into this game with 203 carries on the season for 1,337 yards. Ian Bondi, quick receiver screen near side to Liam Godfrey, who makes the catch, and then runs into a gang of blue. They're sitting there bunched up waiting for him to turn up the middle of the field. No gain. Logwood, who averaged 111.4 yards per game on the season with 17 rushing touchdowns. And a big run to get the ball past midfield. It's 2nd and 9 now for St. Mary's at the Fortuna 35, or make that 36-yard line, and it's Logwood up the middle, putting the team on his back here in this second possession of the second half for St. Mary's. He picks up yet another first down and keeps the drive going.
Moving the chains, great job.
And now Logwood is going to ask for a timeout. Not an official timeout, but just his own personal timeout. Takes his helmet off and gets some Gatorade in his system. Ian Bondi looking to the air here on first down. He has him in, and it's caught for a touchdown. The fade route down the near sideline. And Bondi is pumped up. Clapping 5 with the head coach, Keith Miner. And anyone else he can find along the near sideline. Great catch there. And this time it was number 18, Ron Grace, making the touchdown grab. The extra point from Hernandez is up and good. And with 6 minutes and 1 second left here in the third quarter, St. Mary's goes back on top, 21-14.
Great drive, just kind of sucked the defense in. They see what they're expecting to run, and just threw it over the top. Kind of caught the safeties in the middle of the field, it seems.
Correction, the touchdown is recorded by Eric Phillip. Eric Phillip with about a 27-yard touchdown reception. So the first offensive touchdown collected by St. Mary's that was other than Liam Godfrey. And once again, St. Mary's doing that run up. I've got to know what they're doing. This time they go for the onside kick right after the run up. And the ball bounces out of bounds. It's going to be a legal procedure, but for the first time in this game, I guess they've been using that little fake run up to set up an onside attempt. Is normally they've, in their first 2 times of doing that, they run up, they stop, they fake out, then they drop back, and then get back into traditional kickoff formation and kick the ball away.
I wonder what they call that. It's almost like the psych.
Yeah, the psych out.
Yeah, it would be.
The psych off, the kickoff.
Yeah, I think it would be great if it was all red up and went psych, and then kicked it off after that. But
it's almost as if they run up like in dodgeball when someone runs up to go get the dodgeball and then throw it. But yeah, they ran up this time and then quickly followed that right after with an onside kick that went out of bounds and, like I said, was flagged for illegal procedures. So the Fortuna Huskies will start
this drive with the ball at their own 47-yard line.
Very interesting to see how special teams are playing out in this game, especially with kickoffs.
And the first play from scrimmage here on this possession is a fullback dive handoff to Nolan Cahill. Cahill does not pick up any yardage. Alex Glover in on the tackle for St. Mary's. Defensively, St. Mary's starters look like this. It is the Sakona brothers up front with William Skipwith and Ben Schreider as the two ends. I'll just describe the rest in a minute. As a little receiver route up the middle was wide open for Fortuna. That being Dominic Eastburn, the tight end, on a tight end pop pass. Wide open across the middle of the field, exposes the St. Mary's defense, and gets the Fortuna Huskies not only a first down, but places the ball inside St. Mary's territory now. At the St. Mary's 32. First and 10. Handoff. Right side. And the ball carrier has fumbled the ball. St. Mary's defense came up on the ball carrier, and that was Brett Renner.
That seemed like a late whistle to me right there. The ball for the forward progress was stopped, and he kind of waited for the second and third man to come wrap him up.
Yeah, Renner was running with the ball and was still keeping those legs moving. He was still trying to battle past the game tackle attempt by St. Mary's.
That's a tough call by the officials, but it could have gone either way.
There was no whistle as his legs were still moving, and finally someone punched the ball out at the last moment for St. Mary's. And so now that's the second fumble here in consecutive offensive possessions for Fortuna here to start the second half. That is the storyline at the moment. And so let's see if St. Mary's can jump on the throttle and go up by 2 scores. Ian Bondi in some pressure. He has to roll out to his right. And he will air a pass out of bounds near the Fortuna sideline as a couple of receivers in the area were blanketed. And so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Stevie Harvey is going to check off the sideline, is going to go to the sideline for a break after the previous play. St. Mary's with the Twins look here on the near side. Instead, the give goes to Tamarick Pierce. Or no, make that Logwood. And Logwood was brought down in the backfield by Robbie Yates, inside linebacker for the Huskies defense.
And I'm surprised by that conservative call by St. Mary's. You expect them to kind of keep the pressure on and maybe go take a shot downfield after getting that recovering that fumble.
Robbie Yates fired through the open gap on the left side of the offensive line for St. Mary's and just dove right at the legs of Logwood, took him down for a loss of 6. It's going to be 3rd and 16. 3 receivers on the field for St. Mary's now. And it was running back screen, which was was bottled and then finally caught by Tamarick Pierce. I'm sorry. And Pierce pushes the ball past the original line of scrimmage and then gets the ball just past that. So it's going to be 4th down and 8.
It was a solid job by the Huskies right there to force the 3 and out after the turnover. Great job. That's big, coming up big for your team.
Yeah, and St. Mary's with their first punt of the day. And a fair catch is called for by Zach Hugh, the punt returner, after a deep punt from Liam Godfrey. And the ball will be placed down at the 28-yard line. 3 minutes and 24 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. St. Mary's leading by 7, 21-14. They had an opportunity there, Scott, to really open the lead up in this game for the first time, and they could not do so. Credit the great defense displayed by Fortuna and their blitzing schemes. Were able to not only disrupt the quarterback's timing, but also the ball carriers, that being Logwood and Tamarick Pierce with nowhere to go on their run plays.
There was a lot that had to do with that second down play with the, shooting the gap by number 44 and bringing down the ball carrier in the backfield, setting up St. Mary's with the 3rd and long, which, much more difficult to convert than if they had 3rd and 5, obviously.
Robbie Yates really playing strong for Fortuna in that last defensive set. 2nd and 10 for the Huskies, and it's Huff who fakes the handoff and then airmails one out of bounds down the far sideline, intended for Brett Renner. As for the St. Mary's defense, they have held their own at points today, only allowing 14 points so far through 2 3/4 of this game. That 4-2-5 defense. A shotgun set for the first time in this ball game for Fortuna. And once again, another errant pass by the quarterback, Huff. This time he was looking near side for Ryan Wigman. And that ball goes and sails out of bounds into the St. Mary's sidelines. And so 4th and 10 for the Huskies, and it looks to be a 3-and-out for them.
Yep, first time all game we've seen 2 consecutive 3-and-outs by each team.
I'm noticing fans for St. Mary's rocking their alternate blue uniform for St. Mary's. And a low bouncing punt, and Ron Smith is just going to let it go. Fortuna will down it at the 25-yard line, or near the 25-yard line. Gavin Lewis downs the ball. So with 2 minutes and 19 seconds now left to play here in the 3rd quarter, St. Mary's will look once more to add on to their lead. Right now the game is a standstill at what has been the largest lead of the game, 7 points. Back when St. Mary's led 7-0. And then when Fortuna led 14-7. There hasn't been a double-digit lead, though, yet in this game. Ian Bondi, shotgun set, fires a quick pass, out of the reach for his intended target. And that was Liam Godfrey. Fortuna, who came into this game as the more physical team. They wanted to try to control the line of scrimmage. The defense that has only allowed 15.9 points per game. They run a 4-4-3 scheme. And it is Logwood, the ball carrier there, finding a little bit of room along the left side.
He was going to run about 4 yards.
Like I said, Coach Bembo in his 6th season with Fortuna, working at his alma mater. Nearly the identical circumstances for St. Mary's and their coach Keith Miner, who's only in his 5th season, just 1 year shy, but also at his alma mater. St. Mary's looking for their first ever North Coast Section Championship. And Ian Bondi removed the sticks after a completion on the far side to Liam Godfrey.
Back to that quick hitch. Nice pitch and catch right there. Fresh set of downs. Can't ask for much more between your running or your quarterback and receiver.
Brings the ball out to the St. Mary's 38-yard line. Godfrey checking with the line judge to make sure he was lined up correctly. Ian Bondi throwing a pass in the direction of Godfrey, who comes back for the ball and makes the catch, but then was brought down by Major Plain. Major Plain with pretty good coverage on that play. Only a 2-yard pickup for Godfrey. And the Panthers offense, it'll be 2nd and 8. Godfrey now switching up sides as he jogs on over to the far side to line up. Twins look on that side, handoff direct up the middle to Logwood. And a flag flies at the end of the play. Logwood picked up about a gain of 3 on the carry. We'll see if that gain stands. As the referees confer. And it will be a penalty against the Panthers of St. Mary's. Maybe a holding call.
I believe there was a low block possibly.
Referee still talking it out, and now we have a call made. And that was an illegal block by the Panthers.
That's going to back them up 10 yards. That's a big penalty for this offense.
A block below the waist call. And yeah, talk about punishing them on the penalty. Backs them up 15 yards. 2nd and 20 now. Bondi faking a pass to the left side, having to roll out from pressure, still rolling out, and then finally fires one deep for Godfrey, who breaks away from a tackle attempt and will be untouched into the end zone.
Yikes, what a play.
Liam Godfrey with his 3rd touchdown reception of the afternoon gives St. Mary's their first double-digit lead of the game. No flags on the field. 27-14 is your score.
The awareness in the pocket and being able to escape pressure right there. Because like Ben Roethlisberger recalled earlier, sort of the reverse pivot out of the pocket, finding his man downfield, went up and grabbed the ball, comes down, breaks the tackle, touchdown.
Well, in that play, he kind of reminded me more of Michael Vick, escaping from the pressure, rolling out, and then throwing the ball with precision on the run to the right. And Hernandez's kick is up and good, and he didn't have much room to go. He kept rolling out. I thought he was going to pass that point of no return, and then he was going to have to take off running, but he released it just before he got to the line of scrimmage. And what a pass that was. Liam Godfrey was double covered like Anquan Bolden, but I guess he's one of those special receivers where even when he's covered, he's still open.
Yeah, he's got hands of stone. It's not hands of stone, soft hands going up there and grabbing the ball. And being able to reverse pivot out of the pocket and keep your eyes downfield and find your man, and such a difficult thing to do.
Just a very athletic play by both parts of the puzzle there. You had the great scramble and throw on the run from the quarterback Bondi. And then Liam Godfrey, my goodness, going up, double covered, getting the ball at high point, and then having the strength and shiftiness to like kind of bounce out of the defense there that was right on him and just squirt away.
Yeah, what looked to be a broken play, you know what I mean? It was a 15-yard penalty we're bouncing out of. Could have very easily just been a sack for the defense, but nope.
So the first double-digit lead of this contest, and there goes St. Mary's with their psych off.
Psych.
And here comes the real kickoff. Sky-high kick, which is fumbled by the return man. But he falls back on top of it. Went right through his hands, the bucket.
That would have been devastating if it wouldn't have fallen back on that one.
Brett Redder. Very fortunate to recover the muffed kickoff return there. So Godfrey now matching his total of touchdowns from the semifinal game with 3 touchdowns now in the afternoon. Only in this case, they've been all receiving touchdowns compared to the last game he played, in which one of them was on an end around. And Jacob Huff passing on the first play for Fortuna finds his man Wigman far side, and Wigman trying to wiggle his way for a first down.
I love that play call right there. Coming out aggressive and passing on first down shows the defense that you are not laying down for anybody and you're out here to play. You're still trying to win this game.
Coming off to the sidelines is Nolan Cahill, the fullback. Trip set near side. Lined up directly behind the quarterback and firing for a quick, lined up behind the center. It was the quarterback, Huff. He took the snap, didn't even drop back, just looked to his right and fired a bullet to Major Plain. And as soon as Plain got it, he was tackled immediately.
You know, Roman Grace was not fooled by that one. Sort of trying to throw a little misdirection on the wide receiver screen with the block set up, but that was snuffed out from the start.
One more quarter left to be played here in this 2013 North Coast Section Division IV football championship game. And St. Mary's is on the verge of finally taking home their first ever championship in football in the North Coast section. They've made it to 2 championship games before, both in 1991 and 1999, and were unable to come up with championships. They're a team that's been very eager to finally get the opportunity to play. Like I said, couldn't play it a week ago after the game was postponed. They were not able to finish their 275-mile drive north because a storm covered the Willits area. Coach Keith Miner said this about the situation. He said, you know what? All good things come to those who wait. And that's the truth. My mom always told me that. And so he said his team is ready. 1999, St. Mary's lost to Foothill in the 2A East Bay Championship. That was the last time they've been able to play for one. And back from the break. And pass was incomplete, they're going to say. Intended for Wigman, as Huff looked to the skies once again to start the fourth quarter on a 2nd and 12, and the ball must have skipped just in front of Wigman, who was diving to try to make the catch. So 3rd and 12 with trips to the near side. Huff throwing directly across the middle for his tight end, Eastburn. And Eastburn comes up a couple yards shy of the sticks.
Yeah, and I like that play. It was sort of like a play action, then a dump off to the same running back who we just faked the handoff to. Thought he might have the first down, but he was stood up right there by number 17. He wasn't going anywhere.
St. Mary's, who have been battle-tested all year round, played in arguably what could have been the toughest league in all of the Bay Area, that being the Tri-County Athletic League Rock Division.
Huge down, 4th down.
4-receiver look here on a 4th down for Fortuna. Huff with one man behind him, 2 receivers on each side. And he will keep it himself. He faked the fullback give to Renner, kept it himself on the scramble, and will not convert for the first down.
Yeah, tough play, tough call. They see that they were trying to spread out the offense, spread out the defense with the 4-receiver look. St. Mary's was not fooled and still continued to cram the middle. There was nowhere to run.
A great stand by the St. Mary's Panthers defense as Fortuna down by double digits, 14 points to be exact, getting out of their normal offensive routine and rhythm as they're now having to pass the ball to stick with the St. Mary's Panthers. And right now at the moment they're not able to do that at the level in which they need to stick around with the Panthers. Pass and catch there from Bondi to Godfrey. Godfrey, who comes close to the first down. However, there is an injured player down on the sidelines for Fortuna. And as the injured player is down, I'll get a read in at the time. Folks, the NFHS Network will be bringing you championship coverage all school year long. Do not miss a single event. tomorrow, cheerleading championships. Actually, that's going on right now. While we're doing our game, cheerleading championships in San Francisco. Stephen Davies on the broadcast for that one. Hans Webb shooting it. Like I said, that's just kind of wrapping up the fall season. The winter sports will be here before you know it. So become a subscriber of the NFHS Network to watch live coverage, game replays, and highlights of high school sports from around the country. Once again, the website, www.nfhsnetwork.com. And the fans applauding as Major Plain hops up off the turf and will jog off the pain for the moment. And for Fortuna's sake, they hope that he'll be all right and will make an appearance back in this ball game. A very talented junior who has been huge for them all season long has one of their touchdowns in today's ball game. Bondi looking deep for Godfrey, and Wigman was stride for stride with Liam and deflected the ball away with his right paw, just swatted at it. And so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. As I was telling you, they're from the Tri-County Athletic League Rock Division, which had a very good year. This is now the 4th team from that division that's playing for a championship, as Miramani, check that, El Cerrito won the Division III title. Valley Christian and Salesian played for the Division V title as Bondi throws an incomplete pass there along the far side. But yeah, both Valley Christian and Salesian played for the Division V title. Salesian won that. And so you already have 2 championship squads from that division, and St. Mary's can be the 3rd one if they're able to win it today. No other division in the Bay Area could say that. Not even the supremely talented East Bay Athletic League. And Lorenzo Logwood bowling over a defender there. En route to a touchdown score. Lorenzo Logwood got low and just ran over the defender there along the near side that tried to make the tackle. A 30-plus yard gallop from Longwood. And it's now 34-14. And this game turning into a rout now here.
Yeah,
at the Redwood Bowl.
Showed how difficult he is to bring down the open field. He's kind of lowered his shoulder and kept his feet moving and ran through the tackler rather than over him and just galloped in for a touchdown.
And so Logwood gets his first touchdown of the afternoon. Kick is up and good by Hernandez. 35-14 in favor of the St. Mary's Panthers, who made that long drive up here to the Redwood Bowl in Arcata to play today's game, hoping that the second time would be a charm. First time, weather took them out the mix, and they were unable to play the game. St. Mary's, who is playing in the playoffs for their 5th straight year, so every year in which Keith Miner has been at the helm, they have made the playoffs. So I guess their best other shot before this year to win a championship was back in 2009. They had a team that went 8-2 in the regular season, earned the number 1 seed in the Division IV bracket, had a first-round bye, and then lost in the second-round quarterfinal to number 9 Justin Sienna. Upset loss 22-21 at home on Thanksgiving weekend. Justin Sienna, who would end up losing to Fort Bragg in the Division IV title game that year. The kickoff from St. Mary's is taken by Zach Hugh at the 14-yard line, and Hugh is upended there past the 25 by the kick coverage specialist there for St. Mary's. And that is going to be Arius Williams, the defensive back, number 30, in on the tackle. And now the sun is swallowed up by gray clouds. It's a little bit darker than what it was to begin the second half. Fortuna needing a score and needing it now. Down by 21 points with only 10 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. The Ka-Chunk offense is going to have to pick up huge chunks at this point.
Absolutely, and the running attack is going to have to pick up the pace, see what they can do with this no huddle.
Major Plain, the ball carrier, and he picks up some good yardage. Now it's Huff looking to the air, and he completes a pass to Wigman, the sophomore, who's able to corral the ball, make the catch. He was covered pretty good on the play by Ron Smith, and Wigman displaying great hands.
Strong hands. The ball almost came out, but he was able to get a hold of it.
Wigman, who only had 162 yards receiving on the season coming into this game. As this team overall throughout the season has rushed for just under 280 yards per game compared to only 92 yards passing. Huff, looking deep, down the far sideline, and the ball is caught. That pass is complete on the far side to Josh Jorgensen, the man who made the catch there. 5'8", 167-pound senior. 1st and 10 now for Fortuna as they're trying to move the ball quickly at this point. And the pass deflects off the tips of the fingertips of Major Plain. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 now for Fortuna at the St. Mary's 18-yard line. Josh Jorgensen hauling that ball in, and he was blanketed on that play.
Absolutely, it was a great job. The offense doing a great job of just responding to this position that they found themselves in.
A great precision pass by Huff, threw it over the defense and right into the outstretched hands of his receiver. Wigman, the intended target on this play, and he feels that he might have been contacted with before the ball came his way.
I think the officials agree.
And so the Huskies are going to receive a little bit of help thanks to a pass interference call against the Panthers. So that'll make for an automatic first down. And the ball will be marked at the St. Mary's 9-yard line. So actually, it'll be 2nd down and about 1. You have to pick up. Shotgun set, 4 receivers, 1 in motion. That's Plain. Plain gets the fake handoff. And then it's Huff keeping it himself. And Huff is able to spin out of a tackle. And did he pick up enough for the first down? That is the question.
I'm not sure that he did, Mike. I stand corrected.
He did just pick up the first down. So great play there by Huff. Taking the snap and handling the ball duties all himself. That bunch look again here with 2 wingbacks. Toss to Major Plain, who cuts back, started to the left of the field, now cuts back to the middle, still on his feet, and he will lunge his body forward for a touchdown. Major Plain bouncing like a pinball off defenders and contorts his body in a way into which his back was arched, and he reached his ball over his back into the end zone for the touchdown. Major Plain with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the afternoon. Makes this a 2-score game now. Bryant Head's extra point pending. And the kick is up and good. However, there is a flag at the end of the play. Right now, I'm digging that Fortuna's playing the Wisconsin theme song. This was our theme song at Liberty. Oh yeah, man! You better believe when this theme song was played, we knew we were excited. We just scored a touchdown. We made something happen. Ref's still trying to figure out what call is going to be made here. Like I said, the extra point was good by Head.
Seems like whatever it is will be assessed on the kickoff, or it was simply declined.
It was a penalty against St. Mary's. I don't know if it was hands to the face, I think was the call there against the Panthers. And so with 9 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in this, the championship game for football in the North Coast Section Division 4 ranks.
Yeah, we'll see if they go for the onside kick here also, Mike. You know, there's enough time to stop them and come back and score, but we'll see if they're confident enough to be able to stop the St. Mary's offense at this point, because so far in this half, it's been all St. Mary's.
Well, they have converted on a onside kick already once in this game. However, I would think that St. Mary's would be ready for it, but they are very heavy on their right side, and they do go for an onside kick, and it is hung on by Marquise Mahoney Chambers, the junior receiver for St. Mary's, able to field the high bounce off that onside kick attempt, and so St. Mary's offense will head back out onto the field. Up by 2 scores and trying to close this game out.
Yeah, considering the penalty that was assessed on the kickoff right there, the onside kick didn't really hurt them very much in terms of field position.
Ian Bondi throwing here on the first play to Liam Godfrey. Godfrey makes the first down catch, or makes the catch and then picks up first down yardage is how I should describe it. Quick little arrow route, kind of the outside version of a slant route. He made the catch, stopped in his tracks, and then moved the ball upfield vertically for a first down. Gets the ball out to the Fortuna 41-yard line. And now the Fortuna fan faithful trying to make their voices heard in support for their Fortuna Husky defense, saying, "Let's go, Huskies, let's go." 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Players still moving around to get set offensively for them. It's Logwood receiving the handoff. He'll run through the right side. And actually, I'm mistaken. No, it was Logwood. I was correct. Thought it might have been Taneric Pierce at first, but it was Logwood running the ball that time for a gain of a yard. It'll now be 2nd and 9 for the Panthers, and once again, players trying to figure out which side of the ball they need to be lined up on. Bondi in that shotgun set with Logwood just behind him. A wing back here to the near side. Bondi looking for the far side. He completes a pass. I believe it's Godfrey once again on the far side. He was pushed out of bounds past midfield and into Fortuna territory.
Yeah, those hitch routes still proving to be so difficult to stop for the Husky defense. Seems like nearly every time they drop back to pass for one of those quick hitch routes, another first down.
(35-21) is your score. It was a first down picked up by Godfrey on the pass from Bondi. Ball placed at the Fortuna 43-yard line. Logwood with the ball carry. And Logwood angles towards the right of the field. Kind of that halfback slash run pattern in which he started behind and to the left of his quarterback and then cut it up diagonally towards the right Once again, only a pickup of a yard. And so it'll be 2nd and 9. 2 men in the backfield with Bondi, and Bondi gets sacked as his running backs did not do a good job of blocking there. 2 guys came through the line untouched, and making the sack for Fortuna was number 58, Patrick Daly.
Bit shaken up. He kind of came up shaking his hand, his right hand. You see him still kind of grasping that hand.
Play is yet to resume as, yeah, maybe you're right. Ian Bondi might be shaken up a little bit as Logwood is even holding on to his hand for a moment, trying to check things out. And now professionals will check things out. Not to say that Logwood might not be good at knowing how to cure injuries, but that's why you got the medical training staff. They'll take a look at Ian Bondi. Clock stops with 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in this one. Michael Smith with Scott McDonald, who has been chiming in, conversing along the broadcast, and shooting with the camera work, doing a good job. And NV Freeman, producer. And I want to thank these boys, because without them, this game might not have been covered. We were down to our last available options here at the NFHS Network. Not to say that we were the last of the litter. We were definitely the first ones picked. But for them to sign on, we were trying to get a cameraman, but that was a tough deed. And Scott really reversing shifts and switching up from his analyst role to shooting for today's action. So I appreciate that.
We make it work. We make it work.
3rd and 15. And it's going to be a carry for Tamarick Pierce along the near side. And Pierce will stumble forward for some extra yardage. However, it will not be enough for a first down. It will be 4th down and 8 yards necessary to pick up the first down for the Panthers, who have the ball in Fortuna territory, but with the ball at the Huskies' 41-yard line, that might be a little too deep for a field goal, and definitely with 8 yards, that might be hard to pick up for the first down. So St. Mary's is going to line up in pump formation. We'll see if this stays true, or if this is for pond's sake and they run a fake.
You have a dead ball foul right now called by the officials, probably a delay of game.
Yeah, back themselves up a little bit, give them a little bit more room. Not a delay of game, but almost same kind of penalty with the false start, backing them up 5 yards, still keeping it at 4th down. And for St. Mary's, it's probably better to back up a little bit and at least give the punter Godfrey a little bit more room. 2 returners back deep for Fortuna. That's Hugh and Plain. The kick from Godfrey nearly blocked. He was ran into, too, and there was no flag for that. As Nolan to make that, Robbie Yates ran into Godfrey at the end, but they do not call the kick interference there. Instead, Godfrey's punt downed by Fortuna at the 21-yard line with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to play. Starting to get a little bit colder here. I mean, I'm shaking uncontrollably, shivering here inside the press box at the Redwood Bowl on the campus of Humboldt State University, home of the Humboldt State Jacks, short for Jackrabbits. And it's Huff firing the ball. And now that I think about the Humboldt State mascot and the Jackrabbits, I'm thinking of when we passed by the town of Willits.
Yeah.
Little joke we had on the way up when I called them the Wascally Rabbits
Of Willits. Of course, of the Wildcats or something like that.
Yeah.
High school down there.
What was your nickname for them? The Wombats?
I forget. I'll think of it.
Second
I don't. I'll think of something else clever enough.
2nd and 10 for Fortuna.
trip set to the far side, one receiver near side. Pass fired towards the inner third for Major Plain of those three receivers. Major Plain took a major hit.
Yeah, major pain on that one. Kind of let him out to dry, and he took a shellacking.
Plain, who was already roughed up earlier in this game. Yeah, that's a good one. From Major Plain to Major Pain. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Shout out to Major Pain, the rapper.
Yeah. The House of Pain, right?
Oh, no, someone else. He's actually, I think he's from Fairfax.
Oh, okay.
Formerly known as Bo Rat.
Scott with the insider knowledge. He was telling us of his time travels when he went on tour, Warped Tour, in Detroit. There was a lot of good stories that went down on the trip up here. And I'm sure we'll have just as many on the way back talking about this game. And the pass is deflected and intercepted by St. Mary's. It's Ron Smith weaving through the defense and will march on to the score. Ron Smith with his interception return for a touchdown. And St. Mary's pads their lead some more. It's now a 20-point deficit for the Huskies of Fortuna as St. Mary's goes up 41-21.
That was just a great individual effort on defense right there. Kind of, the ball wasn't thrown very well. It was kind of wobbly spiral, and the receiver kind of became the defensive back. Thought the ball was going to drop at the last second. He grabbed it, did a great job of weaving in and out of defenders. I'm not sure how many blocks were even set up. He just kind of made it happen himself.
Huff, who just kind of launched that ball up in the air in coverage. It was a bad decision, but he had to go to somebody. And the ball was kind of up in the air, deflected around, and finally Ron Smith came down with the interception. And boy, does he know what to do with it once he gets the ball. An excellent return man. He's the leading punt returner on this squad. And I have a feeling that next year he's going to be the guy on this squad. You talk about Liam Godfrey departing, Ian Bondi, and Logwood as well. All seniors, they will depart from this team. And it looks like they're going to depart with a championship. They're going to go out in grand fashion. Ron Smith, however, he will be back and looking to repeat. And boy, he is very shifty, though. This is not his first return touchdown of the season, as he has done quite well in that department. Ron Smith now with his 7th interception. And I might be mistaken on that one, though. Let me go back to it. Ron Smith, interception-wise, he's mostly known for his return yardage, but I believe that was his 3rd interception on the season. This was the number 4 game of the week this week compared to when you stack it up against the NorCal Regional Bowl games. It was below the El Cerrito Sacred Heart Prep game, which will be played tonight. And that'll be a good one. I've seen both teams. Scott, you were there with me last time we broadcasted together. Was Sacred Heart Prep beating up on Monterey. St. Mary's with a high kickoff here. Major Plain, the deep man. He'll take it. He has a wedge in front of him. Major Plain with some shiftiness on his own right and is brought down by David Hernandez. There was a flag on the play, and once again, Major Plain slow to get up.
He's holding his hamstring.
St. Mary's thinks that there might have been a block in the back as far as their fans go. St. Mary's, who used to be predominantly red and white in their color scheme, adding some blue accents to their jerseys this year.
That's a holding call.
And it will be that block in the back call.
I think they called holding, but I think similar plan.
At least that's what one of the coaches was clamoring for here in the St. Mary's box. And so that'll back up the Huskies a bit and negate the return that originally took the ball past midfield from Major Plain, who is grabbing onto his right quad as he exits the field.
Yeah, maybe possibly a pulled hamstring. Hopefully nothing serious, but he's walking off on his own accord.
Fans clapping for Major as he will be back for them next year. He'll be their go-to guy next year. You better believe it. He's already their go-to guy this year as a junior. Man in motion, that's Lewis. Quick pass to Wigman from Huff, and Wigman is met immediately by defenders from St. Mary's, and a little shove at the end just to show from St. Mary's that, hey, we still got this in the bag. That was Arius Williams on the tackle. 2nd down and 3 left to pick up for the Fortuna Huskies. Long pass down the sideline, incomplete, intended for Hugh.
Just a bit overthrown. He had his man, but didn't really hit him in full stride, and just a little bit overthrown. If he'd run a little bit faster, maybe put his hands up earlier, possibly, but...
With 4 minutes and 49 seconds remaining, and Fortuna down 3 scores, this game seems to be out of touch, but I've seen crazier things happen.
As have I.
And so a first down is converted, or I should say a 3rd down is converted by the Huskies for a first down, as Huff throws a quick out route to the far sideline. However, the man stays in bounds, so the clock still running. 1st and 10, and another pass, this time picked off by Arius Williams, and he will be untouched, sprinting his way into the end zone with style for a touchdown. As Jacob Huff
not his
threw
best
that
throw.
ball, the receiver was not even looking for the pass, and stepping up and right place at the right time was Arius Williams.
Yeah, he jumped that route. That was, it was not his best throw, not a very good decision on the quarterback's part. But once that ball was going the other direction, there was no one in sight to even pin him down. Huskies didn't have a chance.
That was an easy interception for Williams. Didn't have to do much.
Yeah, kind of defense sort of putting the exclamation point on their already impressive second half with 2 pick sixes in a row.
And so with 4 minutes now and 29 seconds left to go, this game getting towards the final stages. 2 pick sixes, as Scott alluded to, in the last couple of minutes, has these St. Mary's fans up on their feet and in jubilation as they have a feeling that this one's finally coming back to their school. A team that's waited so long to capture their first ever North Coast Section Football Championship. And even though there is some time left on the clock, the wait might be over for these fans from Berkeley. Folks, I want to remind you to stay tuned for the NFHS Network post-game show powered by Play On Sports. We will select our player of the game and have a live interview with that player. We'll wrap up all of this afternoon's action that's coming up following the game on the NFHS Network. We are high school. St. Mary's, who we mentioned already, they played in that tough league with 2 of their other league members already winning North Coast Section championships in football. They just had a tough schedule in general, having to go up against Miramani, who made it to a championship game from Division II. they felt battle-tested, and they've played the role of spoiler throughout these playoffs so far, as the kickoff return gets just past the 30-yard line. I mean, looking at the route that they've taken, Fortuna has had relatively easy matchups coming into this game. They had a first-round bye. They then beat 10th-seeded Piedmont 48-21 at home before knocking off their league rival 11th-seeded Del Norte 21-20 in a close game at home. St. Mary's, who had a play in the first round, they went up against Fort Bragg. That was their only home game in this year's playoffs, as Huff keeps it himself on the quarterback keeper and is brought down after little to no gain and a flag at the end of the play. False start against Fortuna. Back them up 5 yards. But yeah, St. Mary's, who started off at home for the first playoff game, beating the 12th-seeded Fort Bragg squad by a score of 48-13, and then they had to, like I said, go up and play spoiler. They had to pull off an upset in the second round, the 5-4 upset over St. Helena, another team from the North Coast League 1, North Central League 1. They beat them 24-7 at Salina High School.
Second and short, as St. Mary's elected to decline that false start penalty, which I don't know if you're allowed to decline those, but
well, they did.
Considering it's a dead ball foul, but
second and 8. It's Brett Renner slicing and dicing through the St. Mary's defense with his own halfback cutback. Started to the middle, then went to the right, then like a lightning bolt made like a zigzag pattern off to the left and picked up first down yardage. Ball just shy of the 50. And then St. Mary's in the last round, the semifinal round, knocking off the top-seeded team, the San Marin Mustangs, 35-29. So St. Mary's, maybe it's been destiny for them this whole season.
Absolutely, you kind of have to feel that way. They feel that way in their locker room when they're beating the number 1 seed and coming from where they came this year. They've accomplished a lot just to get to this point, and especially, making this long drive up here puts them at a disadvantage. I don't care what you say. If you have to sit in the car for 4 hours, 5 hours to get up to a game or the other team doesn't, that puts you at a disadvantage considering you have to wake up early in the morning, you have to get on the bus, you have to sit on that uncomfortable bus, and you make your way up here and you dominate. It's pretty important. It's pretty special to watch.
Score at the moment, 49-21. All St. Mary's with just over 3 minutes remaining. And Huff will hand the ball off to Nolan Cahill, a junior. He'll be returning next year. He'll look to be a factor at 6 feet, 163 pounds, fullback/linebacker. And for Fortuna, heck, I mean, before this game, their only 2 losses on the season were to the league champion, that being Eureka. You have to understand that Fortuna plays in a very small league, the Humboldt Del Norte League, in which there's only 5 teams, Scott, so they're kind of like an NFL schedule where they play each team twice, once at home, once on the road.
That's got to be fun.
And the Loggers got the best of them in both games. Running back dump off there to Lewis as Huff fakes to give to Lewis, then he swung out of the backfield, and then Huff threw a pass right to him. It will be good enough for a first down. The yardage picked up by Lewis on the pass from Huff. And so now the ball placed at the St. Mary's 41-yard line. And now we're approaching the 2-minute mark here with the score locked at 49-21. St. Mary's out front. Handoff to Renner. And Renner is met after about a 3-yard gain by St. Mary's defenders. Ball comes loose, but the refs are going to say forward progress. Play was whistled dead.
Another late whistle coming in.
And it was Grayson on the tackle. Lights now have been turned on here at the Redwood Bowl as it's starting to get darker. This is the latest game ever played. I said that before the game. I'll say it once again. The latest game ever played. Really probably for both squads. I don't think that St. Mary's has ever played in any of their championship games past December 10th. Definitely no team in the Humboldt Del Norte League has ever played a game past the December 10th mark. So history has been made in many ways tonight and this afternoon. 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining And St. Mary's finally dumps their coach with the Gatorade bath. They were waiting for the time to do it. Now they figure with a minute left that this game is pretty much over. And even some of the other coaches not getting Gatorade baths like head coach Keith Miner, but they're getting Gatorade squirts with the Gatorade bottle. And it is a running back there, number 23, Cole Hayslip, with his first carry of the day. Clock now at 36 seconds. And so St. Mary's on the sidelines, dancing, heavy-spirited, and why not? They earned their championship here today. Offense really never missed a beat. Defense played strong. And they have a lot of talent. And a tackle in the backfield will pretty much wrap this game up unless Fortuna has called a timeout. Clock stopped with 3.7 seconds left. And actually it's a turnover on downs, as that was a fourth down in which Fortuna did not convert. So one final play for St. Mary's offense, and quarterback coming out there on the field is a new one for St. Mary's.
They're in the winning formation.
Check that. They are. I thought Liam Godfrey was getting in the quarterback position, but yeah, Ian Bondi is going to get to kneel down for the championship. Congratulations to the St. Mary's Panthers out of Berkeley, California. They are the 2013 CIF North Coast Section Division IV football champions. With an impressive victory here today on the campus of Humboldt State University at the Redwood Bowl in Arcata, California, defeating and upsetting the nearby team of Fortuna, the Fortuna High School Huskies, the 2 seed, by a score of 49-21. And so St. Mary's can now join the other teams from their league that have clinched championships already. They're now the 3rd team from the Tri-County Athletic League Rock Division to take home a North Coast Section championship. Out of the 5 championships, 3 of them go to the TCAL Rock, and what a proud conference that must be, a proud league. And for St. Mary's, it's their first ever North Coast Section football championship. What a win this is for the program, for head coach Keith Miner in his 5th season, for the fans and family members of these players, and most definitely a win for these players, especially the seniors who go out with a bang to end their high school career. There's no better feeling than winning a championship in any sport, but especially in high school football, and especially in a season that has lasted so long, got delayed an extra week due to weather. This game was supposed to be played last week. Some might have thought that the boys were not going to be ready to come back here after not getting to play last week, but instead they did come back. And now they're singing a school song for the fans. And St. Mary's rightfully has the crown after the performance they displayed here this afternoon. They got it done in all facets of the game. But what about Liam Godfrey? Wasn't he something special?
Absolutely. He played great. Great composure in the pocket and outside when he was flushed out. Took a couple of big hits. Didn't let it phase him. Found his open men down the field. Amazing performance by that young man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned to the NFHS Network for our post-game coverage. We'll wrap up all the action in our post-game show, and we'll have an interview with our player of the game. That's coming up in just a few moments. Once again, the 5th-seeded St. Mary's Panthers have defeated the number 2-seeded Fortuna Huskies by a final score of 49-21 here in the CIF North Coast section. 2013 Division IV Football Championship game on the NFHS Network. We are high school, and we'll be right back.